see here. All right, and we're live with TMG, his new employee, Lance Myxter. What is your title there, sir, at TMG?
What show am I on again? Who are you?
I'm a gateway gamer.
I think. Do I know you? I don't know. Hello, Barry. I technically, I guess, like my job is more media and marketing for them, but officially, and this is like in their little company, I am their official Viking pillager. Is my actual title with the company. So that was kind of nice. It's not like after working in a corporate world for my entire life, this is definitely a cutaway, if you will. My conversations with the head honcho, Michael, usually result in him saying, "I'm not your boss. Dargan the Dragon is your boss," and that's what they say. Like everybody reports to TMG because there's like 6 employees. Our entire job is just everything we do is to make TMG better and sell more games and get cool games and promote it. So yeah, that's what I do. I mean, right now I'm more meeting with people like you and other media people, just trying to promote TMG, get more awareness. We want to reach out to more like local game stores, make them aware of TMG, make them aware of our games, encourage them to put our games on their shelves. Overall, just increase the exposure, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your first week or so on the job, you took a trip overseas. What was that like?
I went to Japan. Yes, that was pretty cool. It was as Michael Mendez, the guy who one of the founders of TMG, as he said, it was a unique opportunity that he was going there and he could bring me along, and it would be like time that the two of us could have one-on-one, and he could kind of discuss the whole process and the goal of Tasty Minstrel games. And then so we were able to go to the Tokyo Game Market and play a lot of these little tiny niche games that these people have, and try to track down stuff that we could possibly make known in the American market, and the TMG could publish and get really good games. The big thing is like one of the things is that whenever anybody finds a game, like we have open discussion almost every day, and people like say, "Hey, I tracked down this really cool game," and then the question is always, will people like it? Is it a good game? That's like the big thing. And because Michael doesn't want to, I mean, obviously nobody wants to publish a bad game, but his big thing is, his goal is that he wants to make sure that every single game that he publishes, you can't make everybody happy with every game, but just he wants to make sure that people enjoy it, and he doesn't want to fail the customers and like giving them a game that they're not going to like. He doesn't want to publish a game just because he thinks he can make money off of it. He wants to make sure that like he can make money off of it and be successful, but he also wants to make sure that all the games that he publishes are good games. And I know that sounds like the argument can be made, what company has the mentality of, well, it's like, we don't want to make horrible games. Nobody thinks that, but he really stresses that. He just wants to make sure. So like if people said, "Oh, is this, is it a good game? Are people going to like it?" And the thing is that, is it like more of a niche game? Is it something where, it's like, people are going to take or leave it, and there's going to be like a core group of people that are going to really, really like it. Well, maybe that isn't something TMG wants to publish then. So it's interesting. It's a good thought process, and we were able to locate 3 or 4 really good, viable games that TMG is interested in, and we went to some really cool restaurants and had very good conversations with the designers. And I can't say anything about those games, obviously, because there's still no contract or anything. But hopefully, I look forward to when I can talk more publicly about them, because they were a lot of really, really good games. A lot of games that have really, really good artwork too. Michael is always on the lookout for undiscovered artists that he can use for games, and so that was a lot of it too, like discussing with these artists and getting their information, so then he can contact them later. And I forget what the name of the artist was, but there was a woman who had, I mean, there's, Werewolf, the game has been redone over and over and over again, and different iterations. Are you the traitor, mafia, werewolf? Are you the Cthulhu? All those things. But this woman had done her own version of Werewolf, same game, but like had done each of the cards with artwork that was just amazing looking. And so he bought a copy of her game and then got her card, not because he was going to play Werewolf or anything like that, but he just wanted a representation of her artwork, and also the ability to be able to get a hold of her later in case he wants to use her for a game in the future, which is kind of cool. So there's like all kinds of stuff like that going on. Got to meet the president of ArcLight, which is that huge publishing company, and that you can probably Google up hundreds of games that they make. And he's the one who rents out the space at Tokyo Big Sight for the game market, and really nice guy. So there you go. It was a lot of fun. Different culture and good trip.
So what would you say separates TMG from other publishers in the game right now?
What separates them? I think they're like, I refer to them as the like, how like there's publishers that are huge. Obviously, there's the Asmodees and things like that, and then there's like this section where yes, hi cat, that the publishers aren't huge, but they're still big. And so TMG is like the big of that group. It's funny, like the corporate job I had, I worked for the bank that was the big of the not big. Like they were like the most successful bank that wasn't a huge bank. And so like I feel like TMG is like that too. I mean, they just seem to, every year they have their releases of games that are, just, they're very strongly Euro. I mean, I don't think they've ever had really an Ameritrash game, honestly. I don't think they have. And it's not that he doesn't think those games are any good or anything like that. It's just he's waiting for waiting for one that he thinks fits the TMG brand. But I always feel like TMG's like just right. They just need that one big game, I mean, they're very successful anyway, but I mean, they don't have like that one game, like their Sheriff of Nottingham, or I can't think of any just off the top of my head. But the one that just Dead of Winter, something where it's just like the big splash game. They don't have that yet. I think they're just on the cusp of hitting one, though. And I think some of the stuff that he found in Japan could very well be one of those things. So there you go.
Okay. So I know you're going to the TMG will be at Origins. Do you know where else they'll be at this year?
Well, they're going to be at Geekway to the West. That's coming up here in a week or two. I won't be there, but like I said, I'll be at Origins. They're going to be at Dice Tower Con. They'll be at Essen. They will be at Gen Con you just mentioned. I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm so bad at remembering the names of all the conventions, but they make sure that they have a presence at anything that's big. I think they're considering going back to Grand Con in Michigan again. I keep telling them they need to go to Con of the North, but I think that's a little bit too small for them. But I think it'd be cool if they do. Maybe I'll just go and I'll stand there with my my Dargan sweatshirt on and demo games during the day or something like that. And maybe I'll do it for them. But yeah, what other big conventions are there?
I don't know.
You don't know?
You pretty much named all the real big ones. There's I know there's one out in California. What the hell is the name of that one?
I don't know.
Not Total Con. It's Straticon. Is that it?
Straticon. Yeah, I don't think. Well, if they're going, I haven't heard it yet. But anything that's relatively. Oh, there'll be a BGG too. They've got their spot reserved at BGG Con again. So, yeah, they'll be at the good ones. So it'll be good.
All right. So, what does being their social media director or whatever your title is? What does that entail?
Well, I mean, right now it's like I'm going to be doing stuff like this. Like I'm talking to you a podcast. I'm lining up other things, just to be able to just get the word out. We are in the process of developing a TMG podcast that I will be hosting and doing on a regular basis. We're looking at like at least twice a month, where we will just not only talk about TMG, but just talk about the business, the organization, not the organization, but like the hobby in general, and talk about those things. And we are going to be upgrading the website, TMG's website, so we can, and we're moving on that. And just I'm right now I'm handling the Twitter feed and things like that, which is just is interesting. People definitely have a lot of questions and concerns about those things, and if if people listen to this happen to be part of the board game media world, like if you are interested in taking a look at TMG games, something like that, yeah, I'm the one that you email, and I'll get you hooked up and get you set up with a game or two, so you can do a review and help us get the word out on the games. So there you go.
All right. So how would people go about doing that if they wanted to? Would they go through the Twitter, or is there?
They can contact me on Twitter, just at Taste of Minstrel Game. At Taste of Minstrel is the Twitter handle. They can email me at lance@playtmg.com. That's all the letters. Don't spell out TEEMMGEE. That would be PLAYTMG.com. Yeah, or if you happen to have my other, if you follow me personally on Twitter or things like that, you can definitely contact me that way too. But yeah, I already threw away your request, though, Barry.
No, that's fine.
Just so you know.
That's fine. I figured you would. I figured you would kind of keep your personal and TMG separate.
Well, I don't know. I don't really see the difference. I mean, there obviously is, but I don't have a problem with somebody contacting me personally. I mean, the thing is that I'm still able to maintain my identity as being an independent reviewer, which I'm still doing. Michael and the company are being very gracious in the fact that I don't have to stop doing the parts of the hobby that I still do as a passion. And not that this isn't a passion, my job. This is obviously a dream come true, and I'm really excited to be working for a company like this. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. I don't have to put on my khakis and my button-up shirt every day anymore, and now I can just sit at home and have this cat bother me while I'm working on stuff. So
I know somebody out there is going to bring up reviewer ethics, especially with you working for a company and still doing your own thing.
Well, it's pretty simple. I'll just trash on every other game company's games and say they're horrible, and just say that TMG are the best ever, and that's the only ones you should buy. And I think that sort of transparency will really help out a lot with promoting our brand.
Yes.
No, it's one of the things where one of the first conversations he said if you don't like a TMG game, I want you to say that in your review, because he said I think that's completely fair, and he says if you don't like it, I want to know why, and I want you to let me know, so I understand. But yeah, I will. It's there are tons of great games out there, and there's no reason why you can't promote all of them. So it's obviously, I would be lying if I said that like I wouldn't want people to buy more and more Taste Minstrel games, because that means the company will stay in business and I will continue having a job. But I have no worries whatsoever, because, like I said, Michael feels very strongly about making sure that any game that he puts the TMG logo on has to be a good game. And if he doesn't think it's a good game, he won't publish it. So it was interesting. One of the things that we, like when we were playing one of the games that we, in Japan, we got like 3 turns into it, and he just was like, "I'm going to publish this game. This game's awesome. I'm going to publish this game." It was pretty cool. It was like I could see him just getting excited, and he was already like, you know, the mind was rolling with his like plans. I could tell with how he was going to get what things he might change with publishing it, and this, that, and the other thing. It was interesting to watch that. So and now like he's home now, and he's working with the designer and everything like that, and I can kind of see that in the emails and stuff that he's sending out. So it's kind of neat to watch the process of how that happens.
So who has say on what games do and do not get published? Is it strictly just Michael, or is it a team effort? Or
well, I mean the buck stops with him, but he greatly appreciates the input from everybody that is part of the company, and nobody ever feels like, I mean, like what they have is, or what they're suggesting is, Michael's weird. He's like, one of the first things he said is like, when he said working for me is kind of odd, he said, just because I'm kind of odd, and he just said, I don't want you ever to like feel, sometimes I'll say things that may sound like I'm being insulting, but I'm not trying to be insulting. And so you just kind of have to keep in mind that like he'll like say, "Hey, don't be dumb," but he doesn't mean it to be like mean. He's just like, like that's just like the what he says. It's just like, it's like he'll say, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, not that he's ever said that to me, but he said like, if I wanted to send somebody a review copy and then like I found out later that this person had like 1 review and 5 followers, he would still honor my word, because I, as a representative of TMG, said I'm going to send you a copy of Belfort or whatever, and he would honor that. But then he would say, "Hey, next time don't be dumb." And not like you're. It's you have to understand Michael and the way he is, and that's also combined with the fact that like he said, it's like he will work 20 hours a day and kill himself to make sure that the company stays afloat and makes money, so he can continue to employ all of his employees, and he is fiercely loyal to each and every one of them. And he doesn't feel like people make mistakes. He feels like, I didn't put you in a position where you can succeed, and that's how I failed, and I failed you, and I need to make sure that I do a better job as your boss. And a lot of people say that, and they'll say like that's very corporate. I've definitely heard that. I worked, like I said, I worked for 16 years for a Fortune 500 company, and I heard that all the time, but I never believed it for once. From anybody. It was just like that was what you were supposed to say. But like when Michael says it, like he really believes it. And he just says, it's like, I've told this story a few times to a few people, and I'll say it again. When I knew that like the offer for the contract for working for Michael was coming, and I was discussing it with my wife, it was. I always thought it'd be really easy. Like as soon as somebody walked up and said, "Yeah, hey, come work for me, work for a game company," I would have said, "Yeah, sure, let's do this." But then, like as it came closer and closer to reality, it became like kind of scary, and just because of the fact that like I'm not. If I was like, if I was like 25 and living on my own and stuff like that, it would be like, yeah, sure, let's do it. But like, I'm 44 and I have a wife and I have 2 children and I have a house and I have a car payment and I have all kinds of things that I'm responsible for. And I could have worked another 16 years at that Fortune 500 company and just been perfectly fine. I would have made my money. I would have slowly but surely climbed that ladder, and I would have taken care of my family and what have you. But so the security of that is definitely something that was not easy for me just to walk away from. But I just, like I've also said this hundreds of times now, but like I said, I don't want to be 75 years old and say, man, I really wish I'd taken that job. So, but my wife was concerned as well. She wanted to make sure that we would be okay. And so one day my phone rang and it was Michael, and I said, hey, bud. And he's like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to your wife. And I was like, okay. And so then he proceeded to, talk to my wife for like a good half hour, and he emailed her the company financial reports, and he said, this is why I can afford to pay your husband this salary, and this is why I have no concerns about us, not being able to continue to pay him for the next several years. And like, it was really nice. He knew that was a concern, and he knew that my wife had that concern, and he decided to take time out of his day to just say, I'm going to call her and I'm going to talk to her and I'm going to make her feel better about the decision. So, and I mean, and it's just like, I've never even considered that as a possibility. And so it kind of just speaks to his character, and it speaks to how much he believes in his company too. So, and people don't realize that he was like a hedge fund manager for years. This was what he decided to do. He was like, okay, fine. He was going to do this. And, and from what I understand and from what he's explained, like, his dad was a hedge fund manager before him and things like that. And it wasn't like he wasn't doing well for himself. It was something where he stepped away from a career that, probably was very satisfying, financially. But he decided that he was going to do this because it was a passion. And so, and it comes through, with him. Like, on the same part, he's like a gamer, and he's like sitting there playing a game with me, and we're having a blast. But on the other part, his mind's working on a different level as well. Just like, as far as how can this help the company? How can this make my company better? So, but yeah, now hopefully he'll listen to this, and he'll listen to how much I praise him, and come annual review time, he'll remember it. So there you go.
I think I'm brown nosing it all. So they got what? He's got 6, 7 employees, right?
Yeah, 6 or 7. I figure which one.
What? How do you see TMG growing within the next 3-4 years or whatever?
I mean, I see them, moving to that area where, instead of publishing, whatever it is, 10 games a year. I don't take my word for it as far as that's how many they publish, but I see them getting to that point where they're going to be publishing, a couple dozen, and they will be a combination of, both big box and small box games. I see them having very good relationships with the Japanese market, and becoming like the go-to publisher for the smaller publishers and the designers in Asia. I also see them strengthening their relationships that they have in Germany as well, like with Hall Games and things like that. And just kind of continuing to publish not only in-house designs, but also like definitely like importing over those other ones as well. It's one of those things where if you actually track, go back to where TMG began, with Homesteaders and Terra Prime, you kind of see where they began and then where they've gone slowly but surely. I mean, we're talking. I shouldn't say they. I should say we. are talking about getting away from Kickstarter and just not being a company that has to Kickstarter because they have enough, they have enough success that they don't need to go through Kickstarter for the funding. And that also speaks to the whole thing where it's like, oh, okay, so you go through Kickstarter and it gives you that little parachute, where it's like, oh, well, the game didn't do well. Well, that's okay. We front-ended the money anyway, with through Kickstarter. So, you don't really lose, if you will. But Michael is like, so like the idea of like we're only going to publish good games is the fact that like then you don't go through Kickstarter and you publish them on your own and you get them out there, and it's just that strengthens, I think, your relationship with the audience and the hobbyists, because we believe in the game, and I think that even like on some weird subconscious but also conscious level, obviously, is that this is a good game, and that's why we're certain we paid to have it published, we paid to have it out there, and we know you're going to like it, and we know it's going to be a success for us, and I think that says a lot. So that's where I see them. I see them getting so big that Asmodee can't possibly buy them. That's where I see TMG the next 3-4 years.
Okay.
They'll buy Asmodee in 5. That's what I think.
5. Yeah, I'm sure if they came to Michael with a number, he'd be like, yeah, screw Lance, I'm out.
No, that's one of the things too. I actually asked him. I said, "What would ever happen if like somebody backed up a truck full of money?" And he's like, "Oh, well, it's like I'd have to consider it." But he said, but one of the things he said, I'd have to make sure that all of my employees were fine too. Like I said, it's one thing for people to say that, but with Michael, it's like I really believe him. I have no doubt in my mind that he thinks that and believes it himself too.
So, what games coming out can you talk about?
Well, I can pull up my. I can go ahead and just pull up my production manual here and just see what we got here. Well, I mean, the big ones that are like out there and people kind of know. I mean, Ponzi Scheme is coming out from. That's one that's and Ponzi Scheme is like one of those like small little I shouldn't say small, but I mean it's a game that like everybody heard about but nobody could get a hold of,
right?
So it's a game that is excellent. I think, did you play that with me at BGG Con, or was it with somebody else?
No, that was somebody else.
Okay. Great game about, an economics game about like a Ponzi scheme where you're just basically, you keep cycling the money through, but the person caught holding the bag at the end, you're obviously the one that you kind of hammered a little bit there. You end up losing. It's, that one is a big one, I think, coming up. Flip City 2 is unfortunately like probably not going to make Gen Con, but Flip City, if you played that, it's a fun little. You've played that, haven't you? Have you played it?
I have it. Yeah, I haven't played it yet, but I do have it.
Well, it's just it's yeah. I mean, it's just like the whole process of like you're playing the city cards, and you get to flip your cards over because they have a different power on the other side. And it's a very popular game, and that's actually a game that was developed and sold in Japan under a different name, and then so they have they're in the process of getting the change or whatever.
That makes sense. It looks like an Asian game. The artwork and all.
Yeah. They that one looks that one's pretty. I mean, people are pretty excited about Flip City 2. They're obviously Thief's Market is going to hit. They kickstarted that one, and that one will be at Gen Con for sure. I know they're excited to have that one to show it off, and I did a review of that one a while back, and so did a lot of other people. But that's a fun little dice game of, being a thief and trying to sell your stolen goods and whatever. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just there's a ton of stuff that's coming. Are you familiar with Joraku?
I've heard of it.
Okay. Jiraku is, and I had no idea at the time that they were, and this is a while off yet because of the fact that we need to, Michael loves the idea of the smaller box size. He thinks that that's like if you know what I'm talking about, like the smaller box sized games that he has. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. He likes that small box. I mean, just because it's like people enjoy that. They enjoy like that little tiny game that they can carry with. And in Japan, that's what almost all the games are. You don't see big box games in Japan. It just That just isn't very common, if you will. But so Jiraku is how do I even explain? It is it's an area control game, but it is a trick-taking game that's about area control. And it's unless you play it, it's tough to explain. But it's brilliant and a lot of fun. And I picked it up and I first played it at BGG-Con at last year, and very fun. Tough to get a hold of now because of the fact that it is a game that was published first by, I think it's Moadius, or I don't know. I don't know how to. Let me look it up. Yep, Moadius. They're based out of Taiwan. And it's the same company that did Guns and Steel, and also like the Guns and Steel expansion, and also Flip City for that matter. So, there you go. I mean, that's the one that they're working on too. So, I mean, there's a ton of stuff, and there's a lot of other stuff that I can't reference, I can't talk about, or else I'll get my hand slapped. So, just yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff to really look forward to and be excited about. And I'm
What about the Feld games? I know a lot of people are interested. I know you can't discuss specifically if there's any, but is there any coming down the pipe?
That's about all I can say there. I can't, because I mean that's a yeah. I'll just leave it. I'm not going to say anything more. I mean, I'm looking at the thing and I can see. I'm looking at here and I can see like almost a dozen games that are in a process of searching for a contract, and I can see games that like terms of contracts that have been agreed upon but haven't been signed, and so on and so forth. And it's really cool being able to see all of this, But it's also infuriating that I can't speak about it because I would love to talk about like all this cool stuff, but unfortunately I can't say anything about it at this time. So I appreciate you asking, but and eventually I will have I'll be able to discuss more in the future. But unfortunately, right now I cannot.
What good are you?
What about you, man? How's everything on your end? Huh? Where's your salacious crumb?
She's at work. It's noon. What do you? Yeah. Oh, him. I don't know what I did with him. I think the cat got him.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, but the bigger one's at work.
Nice. It's really nice of you to say about your wife there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, so you're going to be at Origins.
Yes. Yeah. Getting in that Tuesday.
So now you'll go to Origins, but you won't go to Gen Con.
I don't want to deal with the people. I don't want to deal with that crowd. I'm not.
But there's going to be people at Origins too. It isn't like you're going there by yourself.
Yeah, but it's not going to be 70,000 people. It's it's going to be what, 20 maybe, if that. But yeah, I don't want to deal. I don't want to feel like a sardine in there. I'm not really worried about getting games before everybody else. I can just wait till they come out. It's my channel is really not geared towards that. So that's there's really no incentive for me to deal with all the people and the cost.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, but I don't foresee it anytime soon.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be that crowded at Gen Con. They opened up all those other different areas and everything like that.
Yeah, but I'm expecting them to grow like they have been every year. It's been like what 5-10% every year that they've been growing, more than that in some years. Yeah, they had what 65,000 last year or something like that. It's
I
yeah,
don't know.
it's too many people. Yeah, and I'd rather go to a game con like Origins or BBG where I'll sit down and play games all day instead of dealing with the crowds and all that. Yeah, but I understand some of the reviewers. That's why they go there to get the games before everybody, so they could, throw up the reviews first and all that.
Well, it is also just fun to go too. I mean, not that I want to be, it's crazy. I understand, but it is kind of fun to be there.
Yeah, I know a lot of people go to meet guys every year, but I'll see most of the guys at Origins. It's or girls, guys and girls, I should say, or at BGG Con. It's I don't know. I see videos of that first day, and then people come through the door, and it's a complete turn off for me. Like I said, one year I'll go out just to experience it. But
cool. I think it would be awesome if you would win. You would win. If you would win, it would be awesome. No, really, I can speak. All right. So yeah, you got any reviews coming out that you've been working on?
Jen and I are going to be doing patchwork very soon. A quick little 2-player game.
Yeah. Yeah, that just recently came out too. You're really staying on top of the.
Like I said, I'm not a reviewer. I don't have to worry about that. I just do playthroughs. I will be doing a solo run of 51st State with their solo variant.
Very cool.
And like I said, I'm working on John Roth's game now, the King's Armory. Hopefully that'll be up within the month. Like I said, I had to stop. That's a long game. I had to stop filming that. And the back just won't let me sit there that long. And I have a cat, so every time I stop something, I got to break it down completely and then put it back up. We losing pieces. I don't know how many dice that little thing took. Yeah. But
fair enough.
Once I get the shop running, I'm going to build a table, and that'll eliminate that problem. Put a vault in the table and put leaves on top of it, so I can just let the game sit overnight or whatever.
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I've been thinking about making my own table too, and instead of paying, somebody $2,500 to make one for me. But yeah, I just I want to make one that's like that I'd be able to use for both, gaming and also like if I wanted to play poker, I could do that as well. So that's like, so I've been looking at different designs and things like that. So maybe I'll have you make me one. Send it to me.
Yeah, you could. You just got to figure out the shipping. That'll probably be the most expensive after the cost of wood. Yeah.
True enough. But yeah. So that's how's the shop coming, by the way?
It's all right. It's like I said, I'm going to try to start wiring it. Being that the backs is screwed up as it takes me 4 times longer to do anything than I used to. So it's slowly coming together. All I got to do now is wire it and sheetrock it, and then place the tools in the right order. And I got to figure out something to do with the floor. There's a bit of a decline in the floor. I got to figure out how to level it out.
Like concrete floor or poured floor, or what is it?
Yeah, part of it is concrete, and then they have this built-up platform. So I'm going back and forth whether to rip out the platform and just level it off with concrete or build it out with wood again. It's the saw weighs about 300 pounds, so that's my concern. I was thinking about just building it out with wood, but it's not really enough to shim it, a wooden surface on the concrete without worrying about structure. So I'm going back and forth with it.
Gotcha. Well, good luck with that, man. I hope it works out for you.
Yeah, like I said, hopefully within the next month or so it'll be done. Then I can start bringing in wood and getting it acclimated and start building a table and all that. Yeah, my table design's almost completed, I think. Yeah.
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 Where did you design it yourself, or did you find something online?
No, I did it myself on SketchUp. You know, it's like I said, it's almost done. I just some of the cosmetics things I'm gonna go talk to Jen about with color wood and all that.
Pink with polka dots.
Yes.
I think that'll be like, go out there, do something different. Don't be standard.
Okay, I won't. And then
Awesome.
I've been looking into print screening. I put the logo on the table and all that on the felt, or not the felt. I want to use velveteen or something.
Velveteen, like the rabbit?
Yes, it's like a mix between speed cloth and felt. It's kind of in the middle. I really don't want to use speed cloth. I heard it's real stiff.
Well, speed cloth is the stuff they use at casinos, right? To like
on some casinos, yeah. They also use this velveteen thing stuff, and depends on if it has a pattern on it. It's usually that speed cloth.
Also, that velveteen stuff works really well in grilled cheese sandwiches.
Does it? I'll have to try it. I figured it'd be a little fibrous.
Velveeta, velveteen.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, I wanted to make sure you were following along.
I know. I know you have a tough time reading me at times.
Cool, man. Any other questions you got about the job, about the thing, about the stuff, about the guy?
I don't think so. I mean,
yeah.
How long before you think he kicks you out of the team?
Good week. Good week. Maybe 2. That's my hope. If I can just make it to the end of May, then I'll feel like I'm a success. So.
Okay. Well, at these cons, are you going to be demoing, or are you going to be running around talking to people? Or
a little of both. Little column A, little column B. That was the one of the things that he said is that he still wants me to be a presence, and he still wants me to be be out there and make sure that because like he said, it's like one of the things is that he hired me for was because I had an audience and because people had a connection with me, and so I have to do the things that are necessary to continue having that presence, I guess, in his own. I mean, these are his words, not mine. Please don't take me as like, oh, I need to do this. It just he wants to make sure that I maintain that. So, yeah, there you go.
How many cons does he actually go to, Michael?
Michael?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him at one. I've only been to a couple.
He goes to Gen Con. I've seen him at Grand Con. I did not see him at BGG. He will not be at Origins. If he had his druthers, he would go to Japan or Taiwan 10, 12 times a year. I mean, that he loves it over there. And he loves the food, he loves the culture, he loves the people. So I mean, that's his thing. And so then like I said, he goes to Gen Con and does that. But excuse me. I think he likes going to conventions, but he also is he's very bottom line too. Like me going to this convention, what can I do there that's going to help the company by me being there? And then can Daniel and Misha and Aaron, other guys that work for him, can they do the job just as well without me there? Is it better for me to be at home and being available for interviews or being able to take meetings and things like that? So. Right. Yeah, so I mean, it's not that he doesn't enjoy being there. It's just it's a more valuable use of his time, perhaps.
I am curious about game development. How does that work? Like, Daniel and them are up in Utah, right?
Yep.
Down in Arizona, You know, how does that work? I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of they play a lot of the games in house in Utah, and they play them over and over again, and then they work on them and work on them and work on them, and then yeah, so it's something where they take it step by step and they see what they need to change and what have you. I know there's like a game that they can't talk about what it is, but there's a game that we played in Japan that we both really liked. He brought like the only existing copy of it home with him, and they played it a few times this week, and they're talking about changing the theme, leaving the game the same, mechanisms the same, whatever, but changing the theme to this, that, and to fit more in line, because Michael wants to like try to like have like things that like how the eminent domain line, that's a recognized line of games from TMG, and so like if he can find a game that he can make into like put into that eminent domain universe, he'll do it. There's talk of like with Homesteaders and with Gold West, looking for other Wild West themed games that they can put into that world, that kind of line. The Dungeon Roll and Dungeon of Fortune, taking those games. Dungeon of Fortune, which in my opinion was a better game than Dungeon Roll, but Dungeon Roll's still awesome. Like that's like its own little world, and so there are other games they can get that they can place in that world of games. Kind of like the whole like kind of Belfort Thief's Market world, or like, well, I guess Harbor and Thief's Market are more of like the same world. Can they find another game that can go in that little world of games? And I like that. I know AEG attempted to do that with like Love Letter and I forget what that world was called again. That they
Canales and all that.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that didn't do as well as they had hoped, but it was a cool attempt, though. I mean, it was kind of like thematic board games, or like as far as an RPG world or whatever of board games, which is what it is. But I mean, it was definitely a cool idea, and I don't think they are kind of doing the same thing, in a way with this, but it's not as like. Not as pronounced, I guess, is the way I'd put it. It isn't so much of a like this is the world or anything like that. It's just kind of like an understanding that that's the world kind of thing. So which is, once again, it's kind of cool and it's interesting, that they're doing that. So,
do you ever see them building a world like you said? Like Fantasy Flight has their world for whatever the hell the Descent is in and all that. Do you see them building a world like that, specifically looking for games to build a world out of like that, or no?
Do I see it? Yeah, I mean, I definitely can. I could see them doing something along those lines. I mean, I'm not. That's not me, I guess. It's like the best way I can say it right now is like I'm not as well versed as with the whole process as everyone else, and so I don't understand. I mean, it's great for me to say, "Oh, I've got this great idea," but it's but the thing is that I don't know the cost. I don't know the difficulty of like it's one thing for me to say I think you should do this, but it's also difficult for me to like be able to like know if that's even viable or if it's even like an option. And so they're much better at understanding how that works and what have you. I can definitely see them. I'd say this: they have the mentality of, can we make money doing it? Is it, if we did it, would it be something that would actually be worth doing? Would it be something that would make sense for TMG to go through the process of doing it. And if it is, then they do it. I mean, it's just, can they make a family of games, based upon a theme that would that people would enjoy, and would also be good games that come from TMG? Yeah, definitely. But and that's like such a bad answer to the question, and I know it is, but it's one thing. It's one thing basically. I mean, it's weird to have been in the world where I would always be like, why aren't you making this game? Why aren't you making that game? And it's just like, and the thing is that I don't think they ever have the mentality of, it's like, well, we don't want to make this game. It's just one of those things where it's like you can't theoretically do it because of like so many different reasons that unless you're in it or you're down with it, you don't really know the answer offhand. I mean, and that's a horrible answer, and I understand that, but unfortunately, it's the answer that you have. It's just, I think it would be really cool to have a string of games, but I would be just after seeing how well or not well AEG did with theirs. I mean, it's just like, I could see being wary and not wanting to chance it, if you will.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, AEG's attempt wasn't that great. I mean,
well, the problem is that they opened up with, and I'm not trying to bash on it because obviously there's games out there that people actually liked it, but I mean, you had Love Letter, which was great. You had Courtier, which was okay, and then everything else was just kind of meh. There was nothing.
The Tempest line, that's what it was.
The Tempest line, thank you.
Yeah.
And it just, unfortunately, it didn't grab people. Now, if that had obviously taken off, you'd probably see tons of people with that exact same thing out there, and trying to get people excited about it. So,
yeah,
what do you do?
I'm just curious if that would work with a Euro game. Like most of where you see these worlds being built, like I said, with Fantasy Flight had theirs, and Plaid had theirs with the
Well, look at Stronghold with their world of the Starship people. I can't even think of the names of the games. Yeah, obviously that's pretty purple. Purple. That's pretty popular. What purple? What the heck? I'm getting word salad going on over here. No, I mean, so obviously those were popular, and
yeah, but the Space Cadets are more American trash than Euro. I mean,
they are, and so the theme can work more, but ultimately, if a game's good, it doesn't matter what the theme is, right?
Yeah, it's true. So, if people want to get a hold of you and Tasty Minstrel, how would they go about doing that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. No, the best way to get a hold of me, if you and like I said, you can contact me any way you want. But if you contact me through Lance at playtmg.com in regards to just anything to do at all with TMG and games, and I mean, just questions about the games or questions about how to play games, or if you're interested in having me or anybody else in the TMG world on your podcast or Google Hangout or whatever, that'd be the best way to get a hold of me. If you want to contact me on undeadvikingvideos at gmail.com, you definitely can do that as well. I try to answer all my email as quickly as possible, but I'm human, so give me a give me a little bit of a give me at least a moment or two to get back to you as far as that's concerned. So,
I wasn't, since it's mainly on TMG, I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to ask you the questions like I do in the Hangout, in my sit downs. The first one: what's a game you love and everybody else hates?
Well, not everybody else hates, but nobody seems to love Urban Sprawl as much as me, and that's fine. You guys are all morons for not loving it more. So,
the reverse of that.
oh, jeez, make a list. Pandemic, Small World, that horrible Pathfinder card game. Kingdom Builder.
We said one. Jesus.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's lots of games out there that I think are a big giant pile, but people seem to love them. So hey, good for you guys.
Oh, is there a TMG game that you dislike?
No, they are all amazing. They have never made a bad game ever. Let me think if there was ever. I wasn't a huge fan of. Oh God, I can't think of the name now. Hold on. Came out a while ago. I'm not going to remember the name. I can picture it, but I can't remember the name. It might save my life. I think they are in the process of possibly doing a reprint of a Knizia game. So when that happens, I won't like that one. But but that's to be expected.
People do love Knizia.
Yeah, sure.
Say you're stuck on a deserted island. You could take one person and one game. The person could be alive or dead, fictional or real.
This sounds like my question.
And what game would it be? Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Well, I'd bring my wife, and I guess we'd probably have to bring Dungeon Quest because that's her favorite game.
Dungeon Quest is her favorite game?
Yeah, she loves it. She loves laughing at me when I fall into a bottomless pit. So, good for her, I guess. But yeah, no, who wouldn't bring their wife if they're married?
I wouldn't. I would want to stay married. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
can't be with the spouse 24/7.
Yeah, but if you say so.
Kill each other.
Well, then you wouldn't be on the deserted island for very long, then, right?
That's true.
And then you wouldn't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, that's just another way she'd kill me early. Anyway, is there anything you want to hit on?
No, just thank you very much for having me on, man. I mean, it's cool to. This is how I met you. You asked me to be on your podcast years ago, and look at our wonderful friendship that we've created ever since. So,
if I only knew then.
Yeah, true enough. But no, thank you very much for the time, man. And let me know if you need any TMG games, so I can hook you up with something if you want to review it or do a gameplay whatever of it.
I don't know if I ever did one of theirs.
Yeah, why not?
Well, Jen and I do like playing Belfort, but she doesn't like that dummy thing with 2 players, so that was out.
Gold West, man. Do you have a copy of Gold West?
That's actually in my queue. I was very impressed by that one. I was surprisingly impressed by that game when I played it. That's actually next in the queue. I just got to get Jen to play it a couple more times.
There you go. Make that happen. Gold West is amazing. So,
and like I said, Flip City, I think she'll like that one. I think
cool.
That's all there's.
Is Jen coming to Origins?
Yeah, Jen, my sister, and like I said, maybe her boyfriend.
Sweet. We'll get to meet the clan.
And then if I do go to BGG, Jen will go to that. I'm still up in the air with that one.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you here in a few weeks.
Yeah. So am I.
Be still your excitement. I'm annoyed that Anthony won't be there, but what are you gonna do?
Oh, he never goes, does he?
I don't know.
I don't think he does.
He's antisocial.
Something about well, he works. He only takes so much time off. That was my problem a couple of years ago. I just never had time.
Now my job is to be at the convention. So.
Yes. How does like if people want to volunteer for TMG, the demo, do they do that or no?
If you are looking to volunteer for TMG, your best bet is to just email me, Lance at playtmg.com, and I will. I can definitely get back to you and then see what the possibilities are. As far as I know, that because of the fact that they kind of drag all of their employees and to these things, they tend to kind of in-house it. But we definitely, I know in the past that they've accepted people that have volunteered as well. So
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Like, I only seen them at the smaller cons, and
well, I know
usually in the house.
I know at Gen Con, like Forrest Boyer or whatever. He's gonna be spending some time at the booth, dinking around with us and playing games. So I mean, stuff like that. I mean, I know that they've definitely reached out to different people and had them, be part of the group. So something to look forward to.
Yep. All right, so I'd like to thank everybody who's watching now and in the future. And I guess Lance gave you the email information if you got any questions for him. I guess that's it, right?
That is it.
Any closing arguments for you?
No, just thank you very much for having me on, buddy.
Thanks for coming on. Oh, no problem. All right, so have a nice day, folks.
Have a good day.